Hello everyone, and welcome to the Anime Station. And today I am reviewing one of my personal favourites, Fate Zero, a epic fantasy anime about 7 groups of mages in an awesome battle royale. Or, to put it more simply, the story of Fate Zero takes place 10 years prior to the events of Fate Stay Night, detailing the events of the Fourth Holy Grail War in Fuyuki City. The Holy Grail War is a contest founded by the Eisenburn, Makuri and Tosaka families centuries ago, in which 7 mages summon 7 heroic spirits to compete to obtain the Holy Grail. These classes come down to Saber, Caster, Assassin, Lancer, Berserker, Rider, Archer, Loner, Stoner, Fucker, Loner, Fighter, and you get the point. Fate Zero is a modern fantasy revolving around 7 mages battling in a tournament to receive a wish granted by the Holy Grail of Legend. However, the mages are not alone, rather the Grail itself pairs each of them with a hero from myth and legend. It can be Alexander the Great, Gilgamesh, or even fucking King Arthur himself, who are also after the wish to be granted. The last team alive wins the Grail. Thus, this anime's most prevalent theme is that of wishes, as both mages and mythic heroes have them. For some, the wishes are petty, to be recognised by others, or to simply own the Grail as a treasure. Others, however, are hunting the Grail for a more impossible seeming wishes that cannot change the very nature of the world, and their wishes reveal much about their personalities, due to the lengths they are willing to go to obtain these wishes. One thing that Fate Zero does incredibly well is it has a lack of a main character, and thus it has a lack of a final winner. If you're not familiar with Fate Stay Night, then you're really going to enjoy this, because this anime is more considered a masterpiece because you never know what's going to happen. Being it a prequel, you know how it's going to end, but the events leading up to that are up to the creators. Careful concentration is given to all the characters, so it makes it difficult to guess who is going to win. So when a character is killed, your jawbone drops to the floor, because the guy you were rooting for could be killed at any moment. But there are better ways to put it than this way.
People die if they are killed.
You get me? Anyway, as we carry on, another thing I found interesting was the Master Servant combos. Throughout the series, some generally become instant allies, some take the time to stand each other, some stab each other in the back, quite literally I might add, whenever they get the chance. But some of these combos, what I'm trying to say, generally don't like each other. Another thing that makes Fate Zero a masterpiece is its expert characterization. Because when you have a cast of 15 major characters and you fall in love with every single one of them, you are obviously doing something right. It is a tremendous accomplishment because the way these characters are presented to you, you wouldn't be able to tell who is the main character, like I said earlier, because it doesn't even have a main character. Which is odd, yet one of its best aspects, as once you look it up online, you think that Saber is the main character. But after watching this, she is far from the main aspect. In Fate Zero, although she gets probably the most screen time, she's very uninteresting compared to guys such as Gilgamesh and Rider. Anyone who has seen Fate Stay Night will come into this thinking that Archer is just going to be a murderous, glamorous douchebag. Although in Fate Zero he is still a douchebag, he is a much, much better written douchebag. Okay, there are better ways to put it than this, but fuck you! You don't grow to hate him as much in this, because in Fate Stay Night, when he kills Lancer, he almost breaks into a storm of psychotic laughter. But when in the last episodes of Fate Zero, he kills a very certain main character, in that situation, he shows a great deal of respect and honour, which is very unique for him. Because he is not written to be at all that nice to anyone, I promise you that. But in this case, he's more a anti-hero in Fate Zero than he is in Stay Night. In Stay Night, he's clearly written as the villain who's been secretly hiding behind the scenes. I liked how he was written, because in this, rather than his Fate Stay Night performance. But another thing you notice in Fate Zero does well is most definitely the action. Every battle scene is an incredible spectacle masterpiece that could cause your eyes to have an orgasm. It's a jaw-dropping experience which looks absolutely fantastic. It's a very exciting piece of artwork, and it's so popular in fact, it's created a Fate Stay Night remastered version of the Unlimited Blade Works route. It's already aired, and I really think it's worth watching because it's Fate Zero is not made by the guys who made Fate Stay Night, and that Ufotable are making Fate Zero. That makes this incredible because they might actually go with the route that Zero has set up with them, which could mean altogether a better Fate Stay Night anime. Fate Zero is not just one of the best action anime I've seen, but it's one of the best anime all round. There isn't a lot about Fate Zero that it does wrong. It can almost be classed as described as the perfect anime, having very few flaws. The only thing I hated about Fate Zero is the way they ended it. Don't get me wrong, it's not the worst ending ever, but it could have easily been better. But the thing is, being a prequel, it can't have its own ending, it can't be a standalone project, which really pissed me off, because it might have actually been considered as the absolute best anime ever if it had its own ending. But I have no say, so I'm not going to get into that. It just really upsets me because it sets things up for dickheads like this.
People die if they are killed.
Shut the fuck up, Shin! Anyway, again, with that being the only thing wrong with Fate Zero, you can hardly blame it for having a retarded half-brother. Can you? I mean, I have a retarded half-brother and I don't blame him for all my shortcomings. And there are tons of prequels out there that have much better sequels. Obviously, that's the opposite of what's happened here, but I think you get the point of what I'm trying to make. It puts the original to shame. There is no fault. There is no fault about Fate Zero. It's one of my favourite animes because it's just all around perfect. It's been dubbed and subbed so far, so whatever language you are, you're going to have no problem with it. And it's easy to find on most anime websites. It's generally one of my favourites of all time, and I will continue to watch it many more times. And after all that, I guess you're going to want to know what the score is. Well, if you're one of those pricks that just waited to the end of the video to get my score, well, here's Fate Zero in a nutshell.
Look at me! I am hero! Hey, overall, you suck. God save the queen! Good lord, you fight like a woman! You big egg vikings! Hey, here's a schematic for you. My ass! That was an amazing killing spree. By the other team and drunk!
What the fuck do you mean Ryder dies at the end? The fuck you!